We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
You are listening to The Underground Marketing Conspiracy, a secret ritual where entrepreneurs acquire highly classified and confidential business knowledge that the top 1% of income earners don't want you to know. And now, your host, Maddie Milligan.
What is happening, my fellow conspirator and conspirators? Welcome to the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo! So, one thing that people send me every single day is their landing pages, and even just their web pages in general, but it's usually some sort of an opt-in page or a squeeze page or landing page from their funnels or from their websites, whatever that is, whether it's WordPress or ClickFunnels or OptimizePress, or any of those other things like Elementor and Builderall, whatever it is. Anyways, people send me their landing pages virtually every single day. And they're always like, oh, can you give me some feedback on these? And I'm going to give you some tips right now that you can use that will instantly boost your opt-in rates. And we're just talking about collecting emails right now. We're not talking about getting people to actually enter their credit cards on order forms. I really just want to focus on landing pages right now, right? The first thing that people see that you send them to, usually with the objective of collecting an email address specifically, and maybe their name. But this actually came to me about 6 months ago when I left my job. And before that, I basically would have people, I would talk every single day to business owners with their e-commerce stores, and I would give them tips on improving the layout of their websites. Like every single day for almost 3 years, I would do that. And just general business development advice as well. The majority of the stuff that you hear me talk about on this show, right? But at one point, about 6 months ago, after I left my job, I posted in a couple of groups being like, hey, can you send me your landing pages? I just want to go through them and really just see if there's any patterns and mistakes that every single person is making. And I got so many people to send them to me. I got actually over 100 people that sent me them. And within 10 days, I went through all of them, over 100 different landing pages that people sent me. And I noticed, again, there were patterns that were in every single web page that was sent to me. So I created this ebook out of it, and I basically called it Conversion Rate Killers, and I gave it away as a freebie, but I just want to go through all of those things that I noticed. And it's a really quick thing that I'll go through, so let's just dive very deep into this right now. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll probably just go through maybe 3 or 4 of them right now, and then I'll do more in another episode. But first one that I noticed, just in terms of design, was that the headline font size wasn't big enough. So the headline on your page needs to be the first thing that gains someone's attention, right? They need to see that, and then that needs to be the first thing that they see and that they read. You need to make your landing page so that the eyes are drawn to that. And in so many cases, people send me their pages, and the main idea and sales message and big ideas I talked about before isn't in that headline. It isn't anywhere. And the main thing, again, is that I don't know what the main idea is, because usually the headline and the subheadline and then maybe the pre-head text and the call to action button, all the font size is the same. Like, you need to have that headline really stand out so that people read it and it gets their attention right away. The headline itself and all the copy, that's a whole other story, but just one quick design tip, again, would be just increase the size of your headline. It's such a little simple thing, but I guarantee you, again, as long as your headline is good, then people are going to read it. You want large headline font because you're getting attention on that headline so that someone actually sees it right away and actually reads it, all right? So make that the biggest element on your page so that the eyes are immediately drawn to it. Number 2, there's no big marketing idea. I have a whole episode on this. Go back and listen to that. This is probably one of the most important things, right? If you have a big idea, the rest of your funnel, all your funnel is going to stink. All of your emails are going to stink. Your web pages are going to stink. Like, the big idea is the most important part of your thing. It basically sets the tone for the rest of a customer's journey throughout your entire marketing campaign. Everything else is secondary. This is what you need to spend most of your time on, right? Coming up with a really good big idea that's very original, that's emotionally appealing, that has one primary promise that's specific in terms of the result that someone could get by using your system or your strategy or your product or service, that's what you need to focus most of your time on, right? Once you have a good big idea, then all the other stuff falls into place. David Ogilvy, Roy H. Williams, John Caples, Todd Brown, Gary Halbert, all the people that I've studied, they all talk about the big idea. They all talk about how important it is. So I would spend most of your time when you're coming up with your funnels, and especially for your landing page, focusing on the big idea. If you want more on that, again, go back and listen to my episode, The Big Idea, probably 30 or 40 episodes back. Go back, listen to that, do a little bit of research on each of those gentlemen I just mentioned. And then again, that's going to help you come up with your big idea for the campaign, which is super important. All right, number 3, call to action button doesn't stand out. So I'd say I'm okay at design, but the call to action button, it needs to have contrast, right? It needs to be, again, something where someone can clearly see where they need to click. If you have like a blue landing page where the main color, for example, is blue, like having your button red or orange, that's probably be your best option so that it stands out, right? Having that contrast. And there's really good tools where you can find which colors work together on a web page. There's Paladin, there's Adobe Cooler. Those are a couple of really good ones that you can find some really good complementary color schemes that don't necessarily clash, but those are going to give you some ideas. And again, you want to make that button really pop. A couple of things you can do too, especially with ClickFunnels, is you can make the button glow and you can make it pulse and rock a little bit. So I like to do that in some cases as well. Really just draw attention to where the person needs to click to take that next action. Because again, they're going to look at your page. If your headline is in big font, they're going to read that first. Maybe they'll read like the pre-head, then the other stuff. But once they've kind of got the gist of your sales message and your headline, maybe your lead if it's a sales letter, and then your pre-header, once they get to that point when it's like, oh, here's the button, like they'll know where to click. The classic, I think, 2000s button was this like yellow add to cart button, and you've probably seen it before. These like blue swirling lines on the side, and it's been used many, many, many different times, but it's usually used on white pages with black text. So having that button at the bottom where it's yellow, it's clear where someone needs to click at that point, right? Amazon has tested this though. Their buttons are orange. I usually go with orange or red for my buttons. I think in, 108 Proven Split Tests by Russell Brunson, he talks about how he's tested red versus green and red always works. So again, make your buttons stand out. Another pro tip would be work on the copy in your call to action button. Don't be like, buy now. Like, buy now is very boring. I would be like, yes, I want this awesome, glorious thing of destiny right now. I would have your call to action be like fun, and again, make the person feel like they're gaining something out of it, right? If it's like, hey, ship me this, I usually put like, yes, rush me this. Little things like that go a long way, right? I've tested a few of these things. Using active verbs for the call to action generally works with people. If you can somehow work a feature and benefit and big payoff into your call to action, maybe even in the subtext, that's a really good tip as well. All right. This next one is like one of my biggest beefs. It's every single landing page that's sent to me. This is so frustrating. All right. When I get so many pages, the first thing I see is the logo, especially on mobile where it takes up 75% of the page. When I go to a lot of the bigger websites, like the biggest businesses in the entire world, whether it's Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Nike, whatever it is, their logos are so freaking small at the top of the page. Like they're very top of the page, and the very top left, if it's desktop, mobile, just at the very top, spread out, but they take up like a fifth of the entire screen at the very top. Like you still know it's theirs for branding purposes, but it's a super small logo. Like no one really cares about your logo, so make it very, very, very small. I don't care if you paid someone like $100,000 on Behance or Dribbble to make you this insane logo when it was like Justin Bieber's designers or Shawn Mendes's designers who design all their cool, crazy poster art. Like no one cares about your logo, especially when you're just starting out. If you're a small or medium business, like your logo really doesn't matter. Sure, it's something again where you can have, I would have your logo when you're running ads, like have your logo on your ad, have it at the bottom of your landing page. I just really like it there, to be honest. Again, especially if no one knows about me or my brand and it's cold traffic, right? People who don't know me or don't know anything about, even if they even have this problem. When I'm just educating people, I'm going to have my logo usually in the footer at the very bottom of the page, right? I also like to remove any kind of navigation menus. I despise navigation menus, to be honest. Like when I see it, especially, and it's like, oh, home. It's like, well, they can just click on your logo that's already too big and be on the home page anyways. But so yeah, I don't like navigation on the top, especially for if you're running funnels where you're sending people through a series of web pages, you're guiding them through that. I just think that those navigation buttons gives people too many options to click away. All right. So that would be my main thing. All right. And again, every page of those 100 that was sent to me, there was always this massive logo in the top left. It just came to a point where I'm like, all right, here we go. After about 10 of them, I'm like, here we go. First thing I'm going to see is this massive logo. There we go. There it is. All right, next one. First thing I'm going to see is this massive logo. All right, cool. In a lot of cases, these logos didn't look great. Either the person designed them themselves, they used some sort of free logo generator, or they paid someone on Fiverr like $5 to do this up. When it was taking up a third of the landing page, I'm like, all right, this is utterly ridiculous, right? It's taking up such precious real estate. People aren't going to scroll down. Like, they're going to see your logo. I don't want them to see that. I want them to see my headline. Like, I want them to see my headline, and then they're going to read the rest of the copy, and they're like, oh, there's the button. Again, clear that's where I need to click. So that's what I would recommend doing, all right? So I think I gave you guys enough tips today. I'll cover more in the future. I don't know what I'll call this series, but we'll figure out something. Anyways, those would be 4 quick tips that you can use. And I'm sure if you use any of those are definitely going to help improve people from opting in on your squeeze pages and your landing pages. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I would consider subscribing, maybe even consider going back and listening to other episodes, specifically in this case, the big marketing idea episode that I previously recorded. Go back and listen to that. And if you are enjoying this, consider subscribing as well, so you're notified when I drop another episode of the Underground Marketing Conspiracy, which actually comes out every single day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I pre-record a lot of these and just schedule them. So you'll see a new episode, every single day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Matty Milligan, and as always, I will see you next time on another episode of the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo!